Hi, I'm Meg from Ruffles and Overalls, and today I wanted to share with you how to make a simple fall wreath using gathered materials. To make this wreath, I just use an embroidery hoop, some dried sea grape leaves that I got at the beach, and these dried orange slices that I shared a tutorial for over on our blog. So, the first step is to use a hot glue gun and spread out some of your bigger leaves on the hoop. And I try to use kind of a big wad of hot glue to get it to stay, because the leaves are kind of thick and they're not totally flat. But it helps when you glue these down. I'm working kind of in a clockwise fashion here. So when you glue your leaves, if you start by gluing them just on the left-hand side of the leaf, then as you add more leaves in to make it full, you can kind of tuck them under the leaf before, and that gives it kind of a more finished look than just gluing these totally down and then just adding the other leaves on top. It just kind of makes it look a little prettier. And sometimes you kind of have to hold the leaves for a minute, because I don't know if it's just sea grape leaves, but they don't like to stick right away sometimes. And if you don't have an embroidery hoop, that's okay. You could do this with like a vine wreath, or you could even, if you want to get real creative, you could just cut a circle out of cardboard or something that you have laying around, because you're really not going to see the embroidery hoop when we're done. And I like to get mine at thrift stores. My mother-in-law actually looks for them for me, because where she lives, they have more thrift store crafty supplies everywhere. So I kind of have a collection of them now. And so that's what I used for this one. But I think other things would work as well. And I'll put a link in the description below for an embroidery hoop that you can just order on Amazon if you don't have one. And this one is 14 inches, but you could do any size that you want. The first one that I did in our dining room is actually an 18-inch one, but you could do 12-inch, I think would work well. It kind of depends on what size leaves that you have. And if you don't live somewhere where you can get sea grape leaves from the beach, you could use fig leaves. I would think that they would work well, or maybe magnolia leaves. These are kind of thick, so it's nice that they don't kind of crumble when you try to glue them down. Or you could even use artificial leaves. I think you could buy them on Amazon or at the craft store. But I really like these sea grape leaves, and I got the idea of them from a tree that we have in our backyard that kind of looks like this. And so when I went to the beach and saw these, I thought they would be perfect for this wreath. But the next step you want to do is you'll want to take some more leaves, kind of a little, I did mine a slightly smaller than the first few I put on, and let's see, it looks like I have 6 on here. So I think I'm going to do 2 leaves in between every one that I already have on now. So I'm kind of gonna just lay them out, and then I'll just come back and tuck them in and glue them down. That one still had sand on it. And when I was out gathering these leaves, I didn't really know how many I was gonna need for the wreath, so I just filled up a plastic grocery bag full of leaves, and that was plenty. So I don't know exactly how many that was, but I can count these on here when I'm done and let you know how many I ended up with. But it's not really an exact science. And so just place these around, kind of space the different sizes out, and then just go back in and one section at a time, kind of tuck them in. So since I glued down only the left side of the leaves, I can lift them back up when I go to put this one in. And try not to press too hard so you don't crack your leaves. Nobody wants broken leaves on their wreath. I just like the natural look of these. It's kind of nice that the leaves are kind of like crumbly looking. They're not totally flat. Gives it a little bit more dimension. I'm still kind of doing, trying to do quite a bit of a wad of hot glue as I go because I want to make sure that it sticks. I'm probably gonna have to go back through and add some hot glue in places because it looks like some of them aren't gonna stay. But just hold those for a second. I think Rich thought I was crazy when I asked him to gather leaves for me at the beach. Apparently nobody else does that there. There was nobody else doing it, but they just fall off the sea grapes. I don't know, it's still technically summer, so maybe they fall off the trees year round, because I remembered the beach that we normally go to, that in a certain area of the parking lot, they just have kind of a little grove of these sea grape trees, and that on the ground around the sidewalk there's just always these leaves on the ground. So it was really easy to just go pick them up. Didn't have to cut down any branches or anything. No trees were harmed in the filming of this wreath tutorial. Crunchy leaves. So I'm halfway through here. If you don't have a hot glue gun, I'll link one in the description down below. I use mine for so many crafts. I think it's like the best kind of glue. I've used super glue for things before, but I almost feel like hot glue does a better job of sticking. Hopefully these will stick well. It's just a little tricky because they're so three-dimensional and kind of delicate. I think I need more hot glue. And be careful that you don't stick your fingers in hot glue. I know from experience that it hurts. You can kind of feel it through the leaves, so be careful. Now the last wreath that I made, that was 18 inches, I hung on top of a tobacco basket in our dining room. But this one, since it's smaller at 14 inches, I was thinking that I want to hang it in our kitchen window because we don't have a lot of room in our kitchen to decorate for fall. So I thought that would be a nice place to add some more color to our kitchen. And I just like the brownish orange, just natural tones, because I think it just looks put together, and I guess natural is the word I'm looking for. There, we're almost all the way around. And after I get these all stuck in here, I'm gonna go back through, and if there's anything that needs to be glued back down, I'll do that. If there's any place that needs like an extra leaf because it looks more bare, I'll add that as well. And then I'll start sticking the dried orange slices in. And the dried orange slices, like I said, the tutorial is on our blog. I also have it in our Instagram story highlight, but it is really simple. Basically just slice your oranges up and put them on a cooling rack over a tray in the oven. and leave it, check it and turn them every 30 minutes, but they basically stay in there like 5 to 8 hours is how long mine took. I guess it varies depending on how thick you slice your oranges and how juicy they are. I wouldn't use juice oranges because that might take a really long time for those to dry out. But since I had the embroidery hoop and I gathered the leaves for free at the beach, and the oranges we had in the fridge, some of them were even like had been left in the back of the fridge drawer for too long. So, you know, nobody was going to eat them. They weren't very good, but they still sliced up nice and made beautiful orange slices. So it's a great way to not waste food. Go through your refrigerator and dry some orange slices up. But so the wreath itself didn't cost me anything, which is always nice. All right, so now I'm just going to find where the top of my wreath is because I've spun it so many times. I don't remember. And it looks like they're all sticking, so that's good. All right, the top is right there, straight in front of me. So I think I decided that I wanted to do an orange slice every 2 leaves, like one and then skip 2, and then do another one. But you can kind of play around with it. It's not an exact science at all. And I like to just kind of tuck my oranges under the leaves a little bit so it doesn't look like they're just glued on top. That one doesn't have a lot of space, so I might put that one there. And then, whoa. And if part of your orange doesn't come out good, you just stick that part underneath the leaves. Looks like I need one more. Just stick that here. So just kind of eyeball it, see if everything is kind of where you want it to be and evenly spaced. That. And then just hot glue the back side of each orange and stick it on your wreath. Stick it in there. Just hold it for a second so it stays. And these dried orange slices even smell good. They don't have a very strong smell, but when you get up close to them, they have a nice sweet smell like oranges do. And they turn such a pretty dark orangey color as they dry. When you first start slicing them, they're kind of like very bright light orange, and you're wondering like, how is this gonna look? But as they dry right towards the end, they start to get that really pretty color. All right, we're halfway there. I'm just going to glue these last few on. And you can do as many or as little as you like. I originally wanted to try to use wire and wrap it through the oranges to like fasten them on that way, so I wasn't sticking hot glue on them and I could reuse them if I wanted to, but I couldn't find a way to do it well without the wire showing. This seems to be the best way that I could find to do it, and it's just fast. One. All right. You layer all down. So there you have it. A really simple fall wreath made out of gathered material, so it didn't cost anything. And it's gonna look beautiful in the kitchen, and it's gonna add just a nice touch of pretty fall colors, but yet still look natural. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, we'd love it if you subscribe to our channel. We love sharing videos of our vintage finds and DIY projects. You can also follow us on Instagram. And don't forget, if you want more details, you can see the whole tutorial for how to make this wreath and how to make the dried orange slices on our blog, rufflesnoveralls.com.